This morning on Today's Money, what seemed like good deals in a very bad economy. With consumer confidence low and unemployment high, retailers are getting very creative to sell everything from big-ticket items to prescription drugs to people who are worried about losing their jobs. Today's financial editor, Jean Chatzky, is here with details. Jean, good morning. Snappy theme music there for you.
Oh, boy,
I like
you're
that.
Dancing in place of Al.
Yeah, I don't understand, though. I mean, is it a good idea for people who are worried about losing their jobs to even be considering buying big-ticket items?
You know what I'm going to say. You need your emergency cushion first. If you can afford to buy a new car, then you can afford to buy a new car. But I do think that there is a difference between needing a new refrigerator because yours broke and you have to put one in the house and wanting something else, and you have to consider that.
So take care of necessities. Now, these deals we're going to talk about in a second, they sound great. Are companies doing this because they're kind and generous, or is there a catch to most of these?
A catch may be putting it a little bit strongly, but there is fine print. You absolutely have to read it, and you have to understand that you have to lose your job to take advantage of these deals. You can't just quit.
All right, let's talk about that refrigerator you just mentioned. Sears is offering a good deal. Tell me about it.
Exactly. If you buy an appliance costs more than $399 and you lose your job, they will take over the payments. Essentially, they will put 1/12 of the cost of that appliance into your account every single month for a year. If at the end of the year you haven't gotten another job, you
basically
get to keep
have it
the
free.
fridge.
Is there a catch to this one?
Well, you have to have been paying for that appliance for 2 months before you get into the program, and you have to buy it on a Sears Citibank credit card.
All right, Pfizer is doing something that also sounds generous, dealing with prescription drugs.
Right, 70 prescription drugs. If you've been on them for 3 months and you lose your job, they will take over and give you those medications for up to a year until you get that job.
Who qualifies for that?
Essentially, it's anybody who has lost their job and who doesn't have other insurance or prescription coverage. You can't have a back door to get those prescriptions another way.
What jumps out at me about this is, while these plans sound pretty good, if people do go off and lose their jobs, the company has to absorb some of the cost. Aren't they going to defray that by passing it along to consumers in other areas?
I think you're absolutely right about that, just as they will defray the cost of having inventory that is sitting around and not moving. You got to remember, these companies are doing this because it's working.
All right, Discover Bank, this is a plan that allows people to withdraw money when they need it, even if it's ahead of a deadline.
We're talking about a 12-month CD here.
Right.
You have to put in at least $2,500, and they will allow you to get your money without penalty. This one's interesting. There's not a ton of money on the line here unless it's a really big CD, but particularly for people who remember when CDs were paying 12, 18%, there's a big fear about breaking a CD.
JetBlue offering something when people have booked airline tickets?
Right. Usually if you cancel an airline ticket, you have to pay a $100 penalty and you get a voucher. Now they're saying we will give you back cash. You have to have booked the ticket and paid for it yourself. Somebody else on the trip can't have lost the job.
And real quickly, Virgin Mobile, a cell phone plan, especially for people who are in a little bit of financial trouble.
Exactly. If you have been on this plan for a while, they will make 3 months worth of payments up to $90 each for you.
So we've just given like 5 of these things. If these work for the retailers and these companies, we're going to see a lot of other companies get on board?
That's why we're seeing them. To begin with, Hyundai offered a plan starting in January. Sales were up 14% month to month when other cars were not selling. So yeah, it's working.
All right, Jean Chatzky. Jean, as always, thanks very much.
Sure.